Hey there investors, welcome to another video. In today's video we'll be looking at social capital. The ticker symbol for social capital is IPOC. And the reason we'll be looking at social capital is because of unusual option activity. So we're going to look at unusual option activity because we want to try to follow the smart money. And the smart money is made up of large institutional investors that are very sophisticated with a lot of buying power in the millions. And these are investors that are either buying large volumes of calls thinking that the price of a stock will go up very quickly, or buying large volumes of puts thinking that the price of a stock will go down very quickly. And the great thing about options is that they give us a time frame, which is the expiration. They also give us a strike price, which is where they think the stock price is going to move. And as investors, we can try to take advantage of that information by following the trades and taking a more conservative position so that we can try to make some return on our investment. Now remember guys and girls, the videos are for entertainment purposes only, and please remember to check out the disclaimer in the description below, as well as other information that will be covered in this video. So now let's dive right into it. What's going on with social capital and the stock? So as you can see here, after the close, there was some news that broke out that made the stock just skyrocket, right? From a close of 1490 to 1474. And you can see that that's pretty much an all-time high for this stock. So let's take a look at what unusual option activity is saying about social capital. So the last activity on social capital indicates that there are 83% of the volume of option contracts are calls, with only 17% being puts. Now this is very bullish sentiment, and we can see here that the relative volume, which is the volume that is traded of options over the open interest of options, is roughly above, a good level above 2.8, which is a good indicator of unusual option activity. So now, we want to take a look at what these volumes are trying to tell us. Why are investors so bullish on social capital, and kind of what's driving this bullishness in this increase in unusual option activity? So for that, we'll take a look at the news, and I guess we kind of want to start off with kind of trying to get into what is social capital. And social capital, as you can see here by a quick Google search, is a venture capital firm in Palo Alto, and it's ran by the CEO Chamath Palihapitiya. So Chamath has lately gotten, pretty good reputation as a wise investor in Silicon Valley, but also in just venture capital, funding a lot of deals lately, and has been an early investor in Palantir, and he was also a previous executive at Facebook. So let's kind of look at what's going on with social capital in the news. So you can see, again, they won more social capital on their personal stock trades. But if we look at here, this is kind of what we want to see. Why is the stock going up? So why social capital just popped 12%? And that's really what we want to know. So when we look at social capital news, we see that shareholders of the SPAC voted to approve an acquisition of iBuying Specialist, which is Opendoor Labs, in a deal that will probably close. So it looks like the deal already closed. After the transaction closes on Friday, Opendoor will IPO in a reverse merger into already listed social capital and shift its shares over to the NASDAQ. Will begin trading on Monday, December 21st under the the name Opendoor Technologies. So let's kind of take a look at what this means and see investors are rushing in to get in, therefore, on what is essentially a done deal in anticipation that once Opendoor becomes investable under its more recognizable name, the shares will pop next week. So let's take a look at what Opendoor is. It's been in the news kind of lately, and just by doing another quick Google search, we see that Opendoor is an online real estate company based in San Francisco. It makes as-is cash offers to property sellers through an online process. So this is moving the whole real estate market to the internet, which is kind of what Chamath has sort of been arguing. And doing a little bit more research on this, we find that you know, Opendoor is indicated to make 3.5 billion revenue for 2021 and 6.2 billion in 2020. 2021. I guess there might be a typo here, maybe 2022. But this means that, when comparison to Zillow, which also buys pieces of real estate and then fixes them up for resale online, they have a market cap of roughly, as of this article, 31.79. So, based on this, their multiple is roughly this much. So this article is saying that, or is implying that OpenStock is at least worth 161% more of its current valuation. To be even clear, this means the fair value is 2.6 times. So this means that the value of OpenStock is 2.61 times the December price of 29. So you can see that the estimated revenue is roughly 3.5 billion, and the current market cap of social capital sits somewhere around 1.54 billion. So that's a good reason for the stock price of social capital to be going up. So this is pretty big news. We'll be essentially transferring the whole real estate market online, and we kind of see through Zillow and I guess through Amazon, a lot of what used to be sold in person is now being sold online, and it looks like Opendoor will be paving the way for this new market of real estate to an online platform. So now let's kind of take a look at what investors are buying based on this news, which is pretty big news. It's IPOing a company through its already listed company of social capital. So let's see, most of the volume seems to be in January 15th expiration, and you can see that a lot of it is in the $15 strike price. So let's take a look and see what's driving that volume and which contracts are still open and which ones have been traded. So when we're looking at the option contracts for the expiration of January 15th and sort this by the open interest, we'll be able to see which contracts or which strike prices investors think that the stock will be going in. And right off the bat, you can see there's 37,000 contracts open for a $15 strike price. So now we want to ask, now that we know, I guess, what investors are buying, which is this $15 strike price, we want to try to ask, will the stock hit the prices that investors think it will, which is, from appearances, this $15 strike price. So now if we take a look at some technical analysis of social capital, we can easily see that the stock is in new all-time highs for social capital. You can also tell that there's some levels of resistance here and previously a level of support. So this line acts as a level of resistance and support, which didn't break through here, but then broke through here. And now you see that this is another level of resistance up here and could be indicative of another level of support going forward. But you can see that the trend is strong with the moving averages just trending upwards, and the stock price way above the moving averages, as you can see from this line to the bottom of the candles. And another thing to point out is we see sort of the golden cross when the lower digit moving averages crosses the higher digit moving average. In this case, the simple moving average, the 20-day moving average, is crossing the red line, which is the 100-day moving average. So this is typically a strong indicator of buying the stock, which indicates strong momentum on the upside when the lower moving average crosses a higher moving average. In this case, this cross is being made by the 20 crossing the 100 moving average. And we can see the volume down here, which is this row right here, indicating that the volume is increasing. So this is not only a strong indicator of upside, but also the volume is telling us that there's a lot of buying that is going on at these levels. So now we can see, we can clearly see that the stock price will be trending in this new up direction. So we want to try to think about what sort of position we want to take. And for that, we'll look at our notes to cover the trade idea. So the trade idea here is currently the stock, closed at $15.74. So the idea is to buy the January 15 expiration contracts for a strike price of $15 and roughly buying these contracts at $1.95. So when we go to our options and we are looking to buy these contracts, we'll be able to see what they'll be. So expiring January 15th, buying the calls, 15 strike price. So we'll see that by opening here, we can see there's the big volume of open interest there, right? And that is roughly $7.2 million being of open contracts, call contracts for this strike price, which is huge. So this just turns out to be a pretty conservative position because we can see that the momentum is obviously in favor on the upside. So the idea would be to buy these contracts for 1.95 cents, which is pretty cheap. A contract would run you out 195, and then we would also want to get in. Our entry point would be with the stock above its previous close of 15.35. So prior to the previous close, we'd want to get in with the stock trading above 15.35, which I believe should be what the stock roughly closed at last time, which is on our, I think it's on our trade sheet actually. So when we look at previous indicators, we see that the stock's previous high 15.35, and we want to get in roughly around there because it'll give us a good indication that the momentum is in our favor, that the stock price will continue to climb on the upside. And from there, our target levels are 1541, 1592, and 1615, which again we're getting from our resistance levels of 1541, 1592, and 1615, which is, I believe, our moving average or previous high. But anyways, you'd want to get, or your third level would be anywhere between that range and 1655, which has been the previous level that social capital has reached. And now as far as setting a stop loss, we'd want to set the loss at the stock closing back down below the previous high of 1516, because that would give us an indication that the momentum has turned around. Now, if the market ends up turning bearish, then the other idea would be to get the same expiration, same strike price, but on the puts, and enter that with the stock below yesterday's high of 1490 in the bearish market, and these would be our target levels or our support levels of which you could be taking profits. So you can see there, these are based on our support levels here. So 1432 and so on. And our stop loss for our put contracts, if we were to get into these, would be with the stock climbing back up to 1516, because the stock will no longer be going down and the shift is now on the upside. So we would want to get out with the stock roughly trading up to this level. And there you go, guys. That is the trade idea. Now, let me know what you guys think and whether or not you're already invested in social capital, or what you think about social capital in the latest acquisition. Thanks again for watching.